Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and this is going to be my review for... I know this is another new show, but I've actually gotten the dub all caught up at the moment. There's 3 episodes for the dub right now, but I've got it all done. I just hadn't gotten it uploaded yet. The Aristocrat's Otherworldly Adventure for Gods Who Go Too Far, Episode 1. I think that's the full title. At least the part of the title, anyway. Anyway, this is another isekai where the main character ends up in another person's body. And, yeah, this person saved a couple girls from getting stabbed. Or at least he thought he did. And, yeah, until he finds out that, from the actual gods of this world, that if he hadn't stepped in, the guy who was going to do the stabbing would have tripped, and then he would have been attacked by passerbys, so the girls were never really in any danger. So, yeah, his death was kind of meaningless, even though it had good intentions. Anyway, he ends up in the body of a 3-year-old. And the funny thing is that, unlike other isekai anime where this happens, where the main character's in the body of a child, normally they don't have a child's voice. They have their normal voice, essentially. Except, it doesn't sound like a child. This one actually does. That's why it caught me off guard when I was watching it. I was like, really? That's new, even though it's more realistic, essentially. And I was like, how old is this kid? Because he looked really small, and like I said, they never state until a little bit later in the episode how old the character is. And it turns out he is 3 years old. Okay. And he can talk very well, I might add. And thanks to his knowledge from his other world, he was able to learn the language and write in that language, I might add, very quickly. However, he's not able to be taught. They're not going to let him learn magic until after his baptism, because that's when he'll go through, finding out what protections he's got and all that stuff, where he's getting his status screen and everything. And apparently polygamy is a thing in this world, because his father has 2 wives. His first wife, I think, his first wife, he has 2 sons with her, and he has Kine and his sister with his second wife, aka Kine's mother. And his father is a baron, I think. Or he's a nobility, essentially. And for some strange reason, they had him isolated inside the house to where he can't go outside. Because, I mean, I know he's nobility and all, but that still doesn't make complete sense. Because, obviously, nobles can be, kidnapped and everything. But just letting him walk outside the house isn't an option? Even with a guard? Seriously? No, actually, never mind. Never mind, because he does go around outside. He just can't go inside the town. Because later on in the show, after he's gotten older, because he's studying magic and actually, while I was watching this, I was trying to figure out how old he was, because he looked like, a toddler, but some of the clues that they were giving in the show didn't add up. For example, burping a toddler? Only reason you would have to burp a kid is if they're 0 to 1 years old, I think, because usually that's when you stop giving them a bottle. And them essentially treating him like he's a baby, essentially. I'm like, how old is this kid? That's why I was trying to figure out how old he was, because he was already talking as well. So I knew he had to at least be 1 to 2 years old, probably. At least 2 to 3, if not the way how much he was talking. Because usually kids don't start learning words until around between maybe 1 to 2 years old. And even then, they aren't able to understand and articulate what they're saying because they're just mimicking essentially what they heard, what they were able to say. Considering some can say, some kids have learned curse words as their first word, and they don't understand the implication of what a curse word is. So they're just saying it without any context, essentially. They don't understand it. And yet he's talking like he's at least 3 to 4 years old, essentially. So, yeah, it was confusing to me, essentially. But, yeah, we know he got all his parts because, he actually apparently is into manga or something, because he mentioned how this is like the isekai stuff he's read about or watched, and he even looked down his pants to see if he still had his boys, and I'm like, he must have seen that time I got reincarnated as a slime or something, because that's the only one I could think of as to where the character lost their parts, essentially. Well, besides, I'm a spider, so what as well. That one's another one. But, yeah. Anyway, it gets to where the baptism is, so it's time skipped to where he's 5 years old. And he still has, obviously, a child's voice, which, like I said, it's more realistic for this kind of show, and it doesn't make sense as to why this is not more prevalent in these kinds of anime. Because the character's a child. Shouldn't they have a child's voice, and shouldn't that make sense to have a child's voice, Anyway, he goes to the church for his baptism, and he ends up meeting with the gods. I don't know if this is normal. I'm assuming that's not, because his parents didn't ask him, did you talk to the gods, or anything like that. They just wanted to know what the light was. And there are 7 gods, yet there were 8 chairs. One was empty. And I was like, whose chair is that? Are we missing a god or something? Or was there like an evil god or something that's not worshipped? I'm getting an idea of where what's going to be occupying that other chair later. I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, apparently the highest protection you can get in this world is 5 for a god of protection. Like, you could have level 5 protection, and that's supposed to be the max. Oh no! He gets protection from all the gods, but they all give him 10! A 10! Not even a 5! If they had just given him a 5, that would have made more sense. But he's like, what the heck am I going to do to explain this to these people? Because they're going to want to see my dang status screen. And he has item box, he has, he can create magic, I think. And he has all sorts of insane things. And now I kind of see where the other part of the title comes in. Yeah, they went way too far with that, and now he essentially is about as strong as probably a god in their world. Or at least in comparison to most people, all the people in the world anyway. So he has to try and hide. He hid, essentially, at first I thought he hid everything that was abnormal. But no, he only hid the, protection of 10 from all the gods from his family, because he showed them to them, and they started freaking out that he has protections from all of them. And I thought maybe that didn't get hid, but they didn't mention the whole 10 thing. So I'm thinking maybe he made it like 5, I guess, or something. But they did mention that he does have the protection from all the gods, that he's got item box, that I don't remember what else. But essentially, I tell him, don't show this to anybody, because, yeah, this will cause problems for you if you don't. And he ends up realizing he can summon. He tries to summon something cute and fluffy, but what he summons is not cute and fluffy. He summons a freaking orc, I think? Ogre? Something like that? It looks like a minotaur to me. And it goes to attack his sister and her friend, but he protects them and sends it back, and he thinks he died, but he didn't, obviously. And yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting show. A little different from the traditional isekai of this kind of thing, but I think it's good. I think it's different in a good way, because, like I said, a child voice for the main character when they are a child makes more sense in the long run. Anyway, if you guys are interested in this, let me know, and I will see you guys next time.